Chapter 1. The House on the Slope. The house stood on a slope just above the road, so from the porch you could see half the town. Rooftops, signs, a thin strip of highway. Lily thought it looked like something off an old postcard. 2 stories, white paint peeling only at the corners, wide wooden steps, flower beds with something pink by the front door.
Not bad. I was expecting worse, honestly.
Tom said, turning off the engine. In the back seat, Sophie yawned.
It smells like the mountain here, and like something old.
She said in a sleepy voice.
That's the trees and the house. Old houses smell like their stories.
She surprised herself as she said it. After 6 hours in the car, her head was heavy, her thoughts thick. She just wanted to unload the boxes, find the kettle, and make sure the mattress wasn't sagging down to the slats. Mrs. Green was already waiting for them on the porch, a small, wiry woman with a neat gray haircut and an apron over her dress. She looked to be around 70.
Carters, welcome. I'm Mrs. Green. The house is old, of course, but it's solid. If you need anything, I live just down the street. My phone number is on a note on the fridge. Come in. Don't stand out there on the cold.
She smiled. Inside, it smelled of fresh paint, wood, and something faintly sweet like vanilla.
I had my nephew freshen up the walls. We didn't touch everything, though. Some things are better left as they are.
The landlady explained. Lily nodded, running her hand along the banister. The wood under her fingers was smooth, polished by thousands of hands.
On the first floor, you've got the living room, kitchen, and bathroom. The second floor has 3 bedrooms, yours, a kid's room, and a small study. The attic is closed off, nothing interesting up there. Heat works, plenty of hot water, wired internet is set up, the password's either router. It's all pretty simple.
Mrs. Green listed off the rooms.
What about neighbors? Does anyone even live nearby?
Tom asked, hefting a box labeled books.
Well, there are 2 more families on this street and that house across the way. It's a quiet neighborhood. You'll like it. The town's small, but not the middle of nowhere. There's a store, a school, a cafe. It's just right for a child.
She waved her hand. Sophie was standing in the hallway with her backpack on, clutching her stuffed rabbit. She was looking up, toward the place where the banister ended and the ceiling boards began.
What are you looking at, Soph?
Lily asked.
You can hear whispering. I just don't understand what they're saying yet.
The girl answered, her voice flat.
It's just the house creaking. Wood, wind, old houses always sound like that.
Lily said, a little too quickly. Mrs. Green gave a short, dry little huff, but didn't say anything. She only looked at Sophie a bit more closely than at the adults.
Settle in. I won't bother you. If anything comes up, just call.
She said as she took her leave. The door closed behind her. The house grew a little quieter, as if it were listening. Chapter 2. Night Silence. That first night they collapsed into bed, completely drained. Before falling asleep, Tom cracked a joke about a haunted house, but Lily pretended not to hear it. She was too tired for humor to land at all. Sophie fell asleep almost immediately, clutching her rabbit. Lily woke up because of the silence. Not from a sound, from the lack of it. It felt as if all the usual noises of the world had been shut off. No cars outside, no neighbors slamming doors, not even the rustle of wind. She lay there in the dark, listening to Tom breathe heavily beside her. Then she heard it. Somewhere above them, slightly off to the side, a sound. At first it was unclear. A rustle? Pipes? Then her brain caught up. It was footsteps. Soft, careful ones, like a child in socks walking across the floorboards. 1, 2, 3, 4. Then a small pause, and back. 1, 2, 3, 4. Lily rolled onto her back and stared at the ceiling. The steps were steady, even. The attic, she told herself, trying to be calm. Mice, the house, anything. She tried to fall asleep again. It didn't work right away. The rhythm of the steps was too perfect. She could have sworn they matched her pulse. After a few minutes, the sound faded. The house went back to being just an old house. In the morning, stirring oatmeal at the stove, Lily wasn't entirely sure whether it had really happened or she'd just dreamed it.
So, how do you like it, Soph? Do you like your new room?
She asked as she set the bowl down in front of her daughter.
It's okay. It's quiet. Only sometimes she walks.
The girl said, idly turning her spoon.
Who's she?
Tom asked, huffing over the coffee machine, trying to force it to produce something drinkable. Sophie shrugged.
The girl. I haven't seen her, but I know she's a girl.
Lily caught her husband's eye. He twisted his mouth. Imagination.
It's probably just the old pipes groaning. Big house, everything echoes.
Sophie didn't argue, but she didn't look convinced either. Chapter 3. The Girl Upstairs. Within a few days, life settled into a kind of rhythm. Tom left for work every morning. He'd gotten a temporary job at a local auto shop. Lily handled remote orders, unpacked boxes, got used to the kitchen. Sophie went to school, a new, small one with a green playground. She seemed to like it well enough. The house lived its old, quiet life. Stairs creaked, floorboards groaned, wind moved across the roof. But something still worried Lily. Sophie had begun murmuring more often while playing alone. Not songs, not pretend chatter with toys, but as if she were answering someone. Sometimes she'd lift her head and look slightly to the side, as if someone else were there.
Who are you talking to?
Her.
Who exactly?
The girl. She lives upstairs. She's bored and she's cold.
Sophie said this as if she were talking about a neighbor. Lily felt something tighten inside her.
Upstairs is the attic. Just boxes and dust. No one lives in an attic.
She lives.
Sophie said stubbornly and went back to her drawings. That evening, Lily went upstairs. The landing on the second floor had 3 doors: their bedroom, Sophie's room, and the small study. A few steps higher was the low attic door. As a child, those kinds of doors had always seemed frightening, too small, like something from a monster movie. The lock was old and rusted, the handle stiff. She tried turning it. It didn't budge. She pressed her palm to the wood. The board was cool and damp, as if someone inside had recently touched it with wet hands.
There's no one up there, just condensation. The house is breathing.
Lil, everything okay?
Yeah, I'm coming.
She shouted. That night, she dreamed that above their bed there wasn't just a ceiling, but someone's transparent room. Someone walking back and forth in it, leaving wet footprints. Chapter 4. The Faceless Drawing. A week later, Sophie had new drawings. Lily was picking up scattered markers from the nursery floor when she noticed an open sketchbook. On the page, a figure of a girl. A child's drawing, simple as could be. Stick arms, a circle for a head, thin legs, a blue dress, a messy tangle of black hair. But the face. Instead of a face, there was a blank white oval. No eyes, no mouth, no nose.
Soph? Come here, sweetheart.
Lily called, feeling goosebumps rise on her arms. Sophie peeked into the room.
Who is this?
Her,
She has no face.
she lost it when they locked her in. She doesn't remember what her face looked like. She's sad about that.
Her tone was matter-of-fact, as if she were explaining the plot of a cartoon.
Who locked her in?
Lily asked, hearing her own voice sound unfamiliar to her. Sophie thought for a moment.
Big people, grown-ups. They thought they were doing something good, but she was very scared. She scratched the door, but no one opened it.
You made this up, right? Like a story?
She told me.
Sophie said stubbornly and walked out into the hallway. Lily stayed standing there, the paper trembling slightly in her hand. She remembered Mrs. Green's words. The attic is locked, nothing interesting there, and the way the woman had looked at Sophie on the first day. I'll talk to her first, Lily decided, and then to a doctor. That same day, she messaged the landlady. Chapter 5. The Story They Tried to Hide.
You've lived here a long time, right?
Lily began once they sat down in the kitchen. Sophie was at school. Thomas was at work. The house felt a little too empty.
More than 40 years. First with my husband, then he passed. The kids moved away. The house is big, so I rent part of it out. What exactly are you curious about?
Lily hesitated. It sounded ridiculous to start with, "My daughter is talking to an invisible girl from the attic." She chose a softer route.
Sophie is a bit impressionable. She sometimes has very vivid dreams. She's been saying that up there, someone is living. And I noticed scratches on the attic door, like someone tried to get out.
Something flickered across Mrs. Green's face. Something old, like a memory that had worn thin.
Children sense everything, more than we give them credit for. The attic is truly old. It's been that way since the people who lived here before.
What people?
Lily asked.
It's not really my story, but I suppose you should know. About 30 years ago, a family lived here. Husband, wife, daughter. The girl was 8. She was difficult, as they said back then. She screamed, didn't sleep at night, saw things, said strange things. Doctors were different in those days. They decided the best way was to limit her. At first, in her room. Then, when things got worse, they turned the attic into a special room, like a quiet place. No windows, almost no things.
Lily felt the chair beneath her grow colder.
They locked her there?
For some time, yes. I lived on the same street back then. I heard things, but who are we to interfere? Family matters. One day, the girl, she didn't come out. A cold, complications, something with her lungs. They called the ambulance too late. That's what they said. Officially, an accident.
Lily stared at the landlady without blinking.
And you rented this house to families with children after that?
She asked, feeling a sharp anger she hadn't planned. Mrs. Green clasped her hands around her mug.
The house isn't to blame, and not everyone feels things. Many lived here for years without a single incident, but some children, yes. I thought time would smooth it out. Has your daughter said something about her?
She draws her. Says she doesn't have a face because she lost it when they locked her in.
Mrs. Green crossed herself quickly, almost mechanically.
Maybe you should move?
We signed a year-long lease. We just got here. We can't afford to pack everything again and search for another place. I'll figure it out. But I don't want my daughter becoming a friend for whatever you left up in that attic.
Mrs. Green looked older than on the first day.
If you decide to leave, I'll return your deposit. I should have done that long ago. But for now, try not to open that door. The longer it stays closed, the quieter things are.
Lily thought of the scratches on the wood and Sophie's words, "She's asking me to open the door." She wasn't sure a closed door meant quiet. Chapter 6. A Night in the Living Room. After that conversation, things only got worse. The footsteps at night became more frequent. And it wasn't just footsteps anymore. Sometimes Lily heard something being dragged upstairs, something heavy, scraping. Sometimes a short, thin laugh, like the squeak of a rusty hinge. Sophie was growing paler by the day. She became afraid to fall asleep alone. She asked them to leave the door slightly open, the hallway light on. At night, Lily woke up several times to find Sophie standing silently beside their bed.
What is it, sweetheart?
Lily whispered, sitting up.
She's calling me. She says I had to come to her. She says I'll be better there.
In the morning, Lily called the doctor. The town had only one pediatrician, a nervous man used to complaints like, "My stomach hurts," and "He's coughing."
This is adaptation. New house, new school. Children often invent imaginary friends.
He said over video call. Because of the poor connection, his face broke into squares.
She knows things she shouldn't. About the attic. About the girl who was there.
She could have overheard adults talking, especially if you were on the phone. Kids pick up everything. I can give you contacts for a child psychologist in Denver, but I'll be honest, until we rule out a simple explanation, there's no point jumping into mysticism.
He paused. Lily nodded, though inside she felt only emptiness. A simple explanation would have been a relief, but everything in the house felt too precise to be just coincidence and a child's mind. That evening, when Thomas returned home, she told him everything about the landlady, the girl's story, the doctor.
Lil, I get it. It's creepy. But let's rely on what we can actually verify. The house is old. The sounds are normal. The attic is locked. The story, yeah, it's awful. But how many stories like that exist across the country? I don't want us packing up and living in a car just because something rustles at night, he said, sitting on the edge of the couch. He took her hand.
What if it's not just rustling? What if she really wants something from Sophie?
Then we'll do what adults do. We'll stand between them. But first, we make sure the threat isn't only in our heads. If Sophie says the stairs appear by themselves when she goes to her, then let's stay close and see what happens. Not leave her alone. Just be here.
He suggested something simple, spending the night in the living room, all together, on the pull-out couch. Lily agreed. She didn't have any other plan anyway. Chapter 7. The Staircase in the Dark. That night, the house was unusually quiet. The three of them settled in the living room. The sofa, a blanket, a cartoon for Sophie before bed, phones switched off.
This feels like a camping trip.
Thomas smiled as they turned off the light, leaving only a small nightlight glowing near the outlet. Sophie lay between them. Lily could feel how tense her daughter's body was, how she flinched at every creak.
If anything starts, we're right here. No one is taking you without our permission. No one.
Lily whispered into her hair. The girl didn't answer, only gave a small nod. Around 2 in the morning, Lily sank into a strange half-sleep. Her thoughts tangled. Her body felt heavy. At some point, she realized she was hearing a sound. At first, barely there, then clearer. Above them, right over the living room, someone was walking. Next to her, Thomas breathed steadily, but Lily felt his fingers tighten around her hand. the footsteps shifted into something more dry. Scratching.
Mom, she came down. What?
Lily could barely make the word.
She's not just upstairs anymore. It's easier for her to walk when everyone sleeps in the same place.
Lily realized she was squeezing the child's hand harder than she should. The scratching moved, now from inside the wall, near the staircase. Thomas swore quietly.
It's rodents, big rats maybe. We'll call someone. They'll...
Rats don't knock on doors.
At that moment, there was a knock. First soft, then louder. Not from above, from the hallway, where the stairs to the second floor began. 3 precise knocks. Thomas got up and threw off the blanket.
I'll check.
Don't open it.
I'm not. I'll just take a look through the peephole.
He walked into the hallway, his bare feet barely creaking on the floorboards. Lily sat up, afraid to let go of Sophie. The knocking came again, more insistent.
Tom?
Lily called.
There's no one here. No one at the door. And outside. No one.
It's not there. It's upstairs.
The next second, something crashed above their heads. Dust rained down from the ceiling.
That's it. Enough. We're taking the kid and leaving. Right now.
Thomas looked at Lily. She opened her mouth to say yes, but Sophie was already standing.
She called me. If I don't come, she'll feel worse. You're not going anywhere. We're leaving. She says she needs a door from the outside and a door from the inside. Otherwise, she'll stay here forever.
Fear surged through Lily, sharp, nauseating.
Tom, we can't just leave this. If we go, she stays with someone else or alone.
She could not bring herself to say the ghost of a child, even silently.
You're suggesting opening it? That damn door?
I'm suggesting ending it. At least look and make sure there isn't someone alive who needs.
The sentence hung in the air. They both knew nothing alive had been there for a long time, but the idea of something scratching the walls and calling their daughter was worse.
I'll go first.
No way!
She'll wait for me, not Dad.
The silence above them grew heavier. Chapter 8. The Floor That Shouldn't Exist. The staircase to the attic had never felt this long. Every step groaned under their feet. The air grew colder with each step upward. Lily walked first, holding Sophie's hand, Thomas following behind with the flashlight. The door was visible from far down the stairs, a dark rectangle in the dim. Below them, where they'd come from, the house still carried its familiar smells: home, coffee, laundry. Up here, the air smelled of damp wood and something stale. The lock looked the same as always, old, rusty. but Lily noticed more scratches along the edges of the wood, fresh ones, lighter than the old.
If this is just wind and old boards, then this wind has some very specific fingers.
Thomas said quietly. Lily carefully touched the handle. This time it gave way more easily than before, turning halfway, as if someone on the other side was holding it.
Ready?
Sophie nodded. Her eyes were wide but not panicked, more like sad. A black rectangle opened before them, like a hollowed-out void. She expected a cramped, dusty attic with beams. Instead, the space stretched deeper. The attic seemed to rise upward unnaturally. Right past the doorway began a narrow corridor leading up. The walls were lined with wooden panels, scraps of wallpaper clinging, faded green leaves.
This can't be real.
They knew the house's layout perfectly. There was no third floor on any plan. There was physically no space between the second floor and the roof for another level. Yet, there it was.
She made herself a floor, so she wouldn't be only in the dark. But they still locked her in.
Sophie said quietly. Lily felt the hair rise on the back of her neck.
We're going back. This isn't ours to deal with.
If we leave now, everything stays the same. She'll keep calling the next child, or ours when we come back. I don't want my daughter living her whole life with this floor above her head.
Lily said, not taking her eyes off the corridor. She swallowed hard. Thomas cursed under his breath.
10 minutes. We go in, we look, and we leave. If anything happens, I turn around, pick you both up, and run downstairs. Clear?
Lily nodded. They stepped into the corridor. Chapter 9. The Room That Breathes. The floor beneath their feet was level, though it felt like the entire structure could tilt at any moment. The walls were too close. The flashlight stretched long bands of light across them, throwing uneven shadows. Drawings covered the walls, faint, washed-out sketches. Little houses, suns, stick figures. Some crossed out, as if someone tried to erase them. It showed a girl with an empty space instead of a face. The air carried a faint smell, stale dust, and something sweetly rotten. The corridor ended in a small room. Had Lily seen it elsewhere, she would have said it used to be a child's room. But here, everything felt like a crypt. The walls were scratched, some old, some fresh. On the floor sat Sophie, or someone who looked like her at first glance. The girl was older, her dress gray, her hair longer. Her face was smeared, impossible to focus on. Lily stepped back involuntarily.
She's been here a long time. She's cold.
The girl in the corner lifted her head. Lily heard a sound she hadn't expected. Not a creak, not a wail, but a quiet, sticky, human breath.
You came.
The voice was like a scratch across glass. Thomas squeezed Lily's shoulder so hard it hurt.
We came to take our daughter back.
Lily didn't know who she was speaking to. A child? Something that remained of one?
She promised that she would stay so I wouldn't be alone.
She can't stay. She has a home. She has parents. You had them too.
They shut me in.
At the word shut, the walls seemed to respond with a faint creak.
They said, "It's to calm you down." But I crashed for a long time. A very long time. Now the door opens only from the inside. From outside, no one. Only her.
She glanced at Sophie. The girl's fingers were strange, too long, the joints placed slightly wrong. Lily stepped forward, shielding her daughter.
You won't take her. I know you're hurting. I know you're scared. But we're not the ones who locked you here. And my daughter won't be your key.
The room seemed to contract slightly. The air thickened. Behind her, Thomas muttered a curse under his breath.
She promised. She said, "I'll stay with you. Then it wouldn't feel so empty."
Lily glanced at Sophie. The child stood still, but her eyes were wet.
I didn't know it was forever. I thought until my mom came.
Something tightened painfully in Lily's chest.
So it's you who calls Sophie Mom, because you're waiting for yours. And anyone who climbs up here becomes a door. You cling to them.
The girl didn't answer, but the shadow on the wall behind her trembled, like stirred by a breeze.
We'll open the door, a real one, not this. You can leave, not through a child, through us.
The words sounded foolish, even to her. What doors? To where? What was she even planning to do? But there was no other choice.
How?
He barely breathed it out.
We have to stop pretending this isn't happening. Say it aloud. Call the ones who allowed this. We can't free her, but we can give her what she never had. What? The truth.
Chapter 10. The Truth Spoken Aloud. They returned to the real house as if stepping out of someone else's dream. The attic corridor was gone behind them. The door into the cramped, dusty niche slammed shut as if nothing had happened. If not for the trembling in their hands, they could have believed it was collective hysteria. Mrs. Green was silent at first.
We need you to come, right now. And if you have any contacts for the family who lived here before, find them.
All right, I'll come, but I'm not sure they'll want to.
This is no longer about what they want. It's about what you all did back then, and what still hasn't ended.
When the landlady arrived, she held keys and a paper envelope.
I found their old address. They moved to another state long ago. But I think they should at least hear it.
Lily took her hands and sat her in the living room. Sophie sat beside them.
Tell Sophie everything you know. Not me. Her. And her.
She lifted her eyes toward the ceiling. Mrs. Green paled.
The girl's name was Mary. She was very lively, loud. She did everything too much, laughed too much, cried too much, screamed too much. Her parents didn't know what to do with her. Doctors said she needed structure. At first, they left her alone in her room late into the night so she would learn to calm herself. Then they decided to make a special place for her in the attic. Told everyone it was a sensory room. But
The old woman's eyes glistened.
she kept knocking, scratching, calling. Mom opened the door. They thought it would help. She got sick. They were downstairs. They listened as she went quiet. They were afraid to go in. They came to me later, asked me not to tell anyone, said it all was an accident. I agreed. I stayed silent. I thought, well, what can anyone do now? I should have, back then, opened that door.
Lily realized she was trembling too. A faint rustle came from the ceiling.
She's listening. She's never heard this before.
Lily pulled an old photograph from the envelope.
Is this her?
Yes, Mary.
Sophie took the photo.
She had a face. She didn't lose it. They took it from her when they stopped looking.
At that moment, the house seemed to exhale. No more footsteps, no scratching, only an old house creaking in the wind. Chapter 11. The House That No Longer Breathes. They left a week later, not because the house started making noise again, but because it had become too empty. As if whatever lived there and whatever held the walls together had left with it. Mrs. Green insisted on returning their full deposit.
That house has already done enough to you. I don't know what to do with it now, but I will never rent it to families with children again. Never.
Thomas and Lily found a small apartment closer to the center, cramped, expensive, but full of ordinary sounds. For the first few nights, Sophie slept restlessly, waking to listen. One night, Lily felt her daughter climb into their bed.
Did you hear something?
No. She just said it's done. That she doesn't need anyone to stay close beside her anymore.
She left?
Sophie nodded.
She said she finally knows what happened. That her mom hurt her. And that you came too. She's not angry anymore. She went up the steps, out where there are no doors.
Lily wrapped her arms around her daughter.
Good. Good.
Chapter 12. The House on the Hill. A month later, Lily, not really knowing why, opened a real estate listing website just to see the house, to make sure it still existed. It did. The photos had been updated. Fresh paint, new curtains, a neatly made bed. The listing read, "Cozy home in a quiet neighborhood. 2 floors, 3 bedrooms, large attic." The owner was someone new now. In one of the new photos, a young woman stood at the front door with a little girl. The girl held a plush toy and looked up toward the attic window. For a second, Lily thought she saw a figure there, small, wearing a blue dress. She blinked, and the figure was gone. Lily closed the laptop. She wasn't a god. She couldn't save everyone. She had done what she could for her own daughter and for the one who had spent years scratching the wood, calling for her mother. The rest belonged to other people, other choices, other doors. That night, she dreamed she was walking down a corridor, one that looked like the one on that third floor. Only now the walls were clean. At the end of the hallway, light. And there, in the bright doorway, was the girl in the blue dress. She had a face, soft around the edges, but real. She smiled, waved. Lily woke with a strange, quiet realization. A frightening story cannot always end well, but sometimes it's enough that someone opens the door and calls you by your name. And that small, stubborn piece of light is what can hold up even the darkest floor, even the one that doesn't exist on any blueprint.